In a room where shadows linger on, lost in thoughts till the break of dawn. Memory dances like a fleeting breeze of dawn. Memory dances like a fleeting breeze in this reoccurring dream with ease. Whispers echo from another time. Heartbeats syncopate a lonesome rhyme. A path unfolds where the mind's a stream, caught in a web of what could seem. Reoccurring dream won't leave my side through the night and in the lighted heights. Faces blur in the passage of sleep. In this recurring dream we keep. There's a door that leads to distant cries, fading fast as they hypnotize. Figures chase what we can't define. In the fog of the subconscious mind, midnight tolls yet the silence rails. Footprints vanish on forgotten trails. In a maze where reflections gleam, lost again in a reoccurring dream. Reoccurring dream won't leave my side through the night and in the lighted eyes. Faces blur in the passage of sleep. In this reoccurring dream we keep. Reoccurring dream won't leave my side through the night and in the lighted heights. Faces blur in the passage of sleep. In this recurring dream we keep.
Well, hello. It took me long enough to get that from one screen to another. 1 minute. I'm going to take these off because it's not going to work with me having them on at the moment. Well, hello, everybody. I am back. I know I've been away over the holidays, but yeah, I'm going to tell you about all that anyway. We're going to get into that in a bit. Just make sure everything is working first. Just say hello, Richard. Hello, nice to see you here tonight. or today, wherever you are. Yeah, thank you for joining us here. So, yeah, I've not done anything. Oh God, I can't remember when the last time I did anything live. It's been a while, actually. It's been over a week, hasn't it? But I think if you're not aware, it has been Christmas, and originally I was actually thinking I was going to do something live around Christmas, either like Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And then I ended up having a few friends round, and that plan just completely it wasn't possible. And to be honest with you, I think all this month has just been crazy for me. I've just not had the opportunity to be as active on YouTube as I wanted to be. It's not that I didn't want to do things. I have been wanting to do things, but it's just been a chaotic month. But I mean, I was the one that was doing all the Christmas food on Christmas Day. I was doing all the cooking, so I don't think I could be like cooking Christmas food and also doing a live show or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. And to be fair, even today was like a nightmare to get started. But I wanted to do a show before the end of the year because I know I won't be able to do it tomorrow night. I've got my brother over, and yes, I guess I could do something, but it's not going to happen. Even if I said, "Oh, I'm going to do something," it's not going to happen. So anyway, well, I'm here now, and feel free to message me or let me know you're here, or let me know anything you want. Well, anything you want to tell me. Let me just make sure I pin because I did it. I've done it on my. I'm basically broadcasting this on like 3 different channels at the moment. So I'm got them on 2 of my YouTube channels, and I'm also live on what it's called now. Twitch. Is it Twitch? Yeah, I think it's called Twitch. I'm on that place as well. Nobody watches it there, but I just go on there anyway. I mean, it doesn't cost me all to put it there, so I just put it there. So yeah, what did I want to? Why have I come live today? What am I here to talk about? I forget some random stuff. I've got to spin the wheel. I mean, anybody who's like used to watching me live or anything, they'll know I do spin the wheel. Basically, the way the spin the wheel works is like if you want to spin the wheel, basically I accept like a donation. You can do like a super chat, or if you look at the chat section now at the top, I've got it says channel donations, buy me a coffee. I think you can even see the buy me a coffee somewhere around here on the screen. So basically, if you go to buy me a coffee and you donate, like say $1, £1, wherever you are, then I will spin the wheel for you. So you can basically get the wheel spin. And also, it's like a way of supporting this channel and making it worthwhile, because I don't make nothing from YouTube. But let's put it that way. So if you do want to support the channel, you like what I do, that's a way of helping me. Like I say, £1, $1, whatever it is, all currency, whatever currency you put it in, it'll end up being in pounds. Sorry, my microphone. I gotta be careful with this. It's really easy to knock my microphone off. Yeah. So if you donate anything, basically it goes into pounds or whatever. So. But yeah, if you want to support the channel, yeah, please do that. Or just become a channel supporter. I have I think it's like £1 a month just to become a channel supporter. So that also helps. And there's been quite a few people. I've got to say, we've got a channel support. I know. Where is it now? It's gone on my thing. It was here before. Okay, it doesn't matter. But I know that we had some people come back to being channel support. So thank you for becoming a channel support again. Those who have, I've got lots planned for next year. I'm going to be more active on YouTube. I must admit, the last couple of months, maybe the last 3 months, I kind of died down. I had to focus on work. Because obviously YouTube just doesn't really help me, and that's why I need the support. That's what basically the channel support is for, so I can keep making YouTube videos. But yeah, for the last 3 months, I've been busy with work and stuff, so that's why I just haven't been as active. Trying to work out what to do with my videos. I tried my coffee stuff, which I'm really enjoying, to be honest. I'm doing lots of stuff with coffee, but it doesn't seem very popular, which is a shame, because I'm enjoying it. So I don't know. I might end up doing the coffee stuff on another channel, to be honest with you, because if it's not popular here, it'll probably be popular somewhere else. Mm, and that's over with. But yeah, so I just got a few things. I'm gonna go through a few videos. There's some videos. To be honest with you, I mean, like this. Normally, I'm live for about 2 to 3 hours. Um, so we'll just see how it goes in that 2 to 3 hours. I mean, if it's quiet, it seems quiet tonight. To be honest with you, I guess everybody's still celebrating Christmas or something. But if it does, I'm gonna be here for about 2 or 3 hours. Let's just see what happens. I've got some videos I've chosen that I want to talk about, but if you want to spin the wheel and we get some extra videos, great, we can do that. Well, I might as well tell you a little bit about Christmas. So yeah, I did plan originally to do some live stuff over Christmas. It didn't happen. I think it's just a reality, isn't it? Like when you talk about what's going on the internet and then what's going on in like life, um, it can be quite, it can quite happens quite often where you just can't get live and stuff, and you end up, and I had a busy house and stuff. So I've been, yeah, I cooked all the food over Christmas. I did turkey. I did all the usual Christmas things. So I did all that. I did a lot of the shopping as well. I ended up buying most of the food in. I kind of enjoy doing that, so it's not really like it was a chore. And I think I need a new mic for the new year. I think that's gonna have to happen. This microphone is definitely annoying me today. Um, what else? Yeah, I'm not doing much for New Year. Gonna stay in, but I got my brother coming around, so probably gonna just like eat some food and chill out. And then, yeah, and then we've got the new year, haven't we? And like I said, I got plans for YouTube, but I don't know. I want to like introduce some new stuff onto YouTube, some other things. I tried to do the coffee stuff. It didn't seem as popular. It seems like you guys kind of like anything to do with like, obviously, I talk about trans issues, which I am transgender, so it's kind of like my thing. But I was like, okay, I won't just talk about transgender issues. I'll talk about other things. And then when I tried to talk about other things, you guys don't seem as interested in them. So I don't know why, but okay. So yeah, like I said, the coffee stuff probably gonna have to put on another channel. And then I was gonna do some stuff because I'm starting to, or I feel like I feel fat from Christmas. So I'm thinking like I'm gonna start doing a bit of the gym and things like that. So I was gonna like talk about that as well, but I think it might end up being on another channel because I just don't think it's gonna be popular on this channel. Um, Also, I've got the movie club and YouTube Watch. I'm gonna keep doing them for now. Hopefully, if you support me on those, I hope you're enjoying those videos. I'm gonna keep doing them. I think that going forward, like with the movies, it just looks like the reality is we're gonna have to do different things with the movies. But YouTube Watch could be anything, can't it? Anyway, there's me rambling on. Let's have a look at a video. Let's get into that. I think I've had enough of like introduction. Nobody's messaged, nobody said anything, so I'm not wasting my time. I'm jumping straight into things now. Okay. So if you do want to send me a message or tell me what you're up to or whatever, then feel free to do so. Obviously, if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, you won't be able to message me. You need to be a subscriber. That's why you can't send any messages, okay? So I know there's people watching because it tells me there's people watching. If you're watching this and you want to send a message, you have to subscribe, okay? That's why. Okay. So no, we're not doing this yet. I want to cover a video. So let me find this video. We'll just go straight in, start watching this video, and then take it from there. One moment. I gotta find it first. So yeah, I mean, I might as well mention as well today's video. Yes, you might if you have looked, I've just noticed something. It does say Monday. Yes, I was going to do this on Monday originally. So the first thing is I couldn't. It's a bit, it's a bit hard to explain, but basically, I was with a friend. We went into town for a little bit of a shop. We're not really shopping, just kind of walking around, window shopping. and obviously we bought a few things as well. It wasn't just window shopping, but we ended up being out for a couple of hours, and I came back and I was absolutely exhausted, absolutely exhausted. I was like, okay, because this happens because I do this with my friends. Sometimes we go out and we end up just going out. And I was really tired when I got back, and I just thought, because I guess I've been sat on my ass the last few days, and I was like, okay, I can't do the show tonight. It's impossible. I'm knackered. And I'll be honest with you, by like 9 o'clock last night, I was so tired that I was just like, there's no way I'm doing any of this tonight. So it just got, I had to delay, I had to just delay it for 24 hours till I had a bit more energy, which I do now. And like I said, I can't do tomorrow. So that was not possible. So today was, it was my last chance before the end of the year. And I can't really be saying goodbye to 2025 in 2026. So this is why I'm doing tonight's show. I want to get this done before the end of the year. Let me find this video. Why is it so complicated to find this video? Come on. So what I thought I'd do is we'll start with let's see. I gotta get myself into this. I actually don't know if I should just do something a bit more relaxing first and then, because this other video is it's going to be a bit more intense for me to do. Bear with me. I've got to get on the right account. Find these videos tonight. Luckily, everything setting up tonight wasn't too difficult. Normally when I set up my videos or something, I'm always like, when I do the live shows, my camera's not working, my microphone's not working. But tonight, it seems like everything's gone okay so far, luckily, setting everything up. But you never know. Oh, that's an interesting video. Let me see. Find another video here. Yeah, so there's one video. Basically, I'm giving you guys what you want, right? I'm looking on my channel dashboard, on my YouTube channel dashboard. It looks like I'm just looking at my videos that I put out recently, and the coffee ones have been like, nah, nobody wants to watch the coffee ones. And even that video was good. I don't know why people didn't watch that. It was good, that video. But it seems like you all like the Edge of the Matrix. So I have got a video from the Edge of the Matrix today. So if that's what's popular, then that's what I'm gonna do. Seems like people like that. So I've got a video from the Edge of the Matrix. I find him very easy to debunk. For me, he seems like a strange one to be so popular, but there is people write in the comments that they want to follow him and they support him or whatever. I don't really mind people's opinions. That's their own opinion. All I want to do is with his videos. I just find them quite easy to debunk. So I watched them. I can say, well, that's not true. That's not true. And so I just that's why I cover him really. And I'm probably going to do one of his videos today. Well, I am going to do one of his videos today. Well, maybe I'll start with something a little bit more simple, something just straightforward. We can just chat through. Let's see if I can find something. I'll tell you what, we'll do spin the wheel, and hopefully it'll go on something that I can talk about. So let's do that. So let me share. I need to share the wheel with you. Where is it? Okay, one moment. I will find out how to do this. I've forgotten how to do it. Okay, 1 minute. It's been no. Okay, wait. I need to share screens. Why is it not letting me share screen? Yes. Share screen. There we go. Spin the wheel. Okay. So for those who don't know, this is Spin the Wheel. Now, normally what I do is when people send me donations, I will spin the wheel and then we can like watch video together, but I'm going to do it first. Now, if it's a video I think is a bit more intense, I just want something easy to start with tonight. I don't want something that I have to kind of think too much for. All right. Let's have a look. I just want to find something to do. Let's see. What's this one? Okay, all right. I think that's a good one to start with. I hope. We will remove that from the list. Let me see. So let me have a look and find that video for you now. So I transitioned to save my life. Oh, here we go. So let's set this up. Sorry, I am just looking for everything. Oh, I see. That's how we do it, don't we? Okay, I think you can see this. No, you can't. Now you can. Okay, so I'm going to watch this video. I'm going to talk about this video. I'm going to give you my opinions about this video. And I hope you enjoy it. Let's just dive in.
I'm a 23-year-old transgender woman. For me, transitioning wasn't really a decision. It was a matter of life and death. I started taking the student.
So I put on a bit quicker than speeded her up a little bit. She's talking really fast. So yeah, so she's a transgender woman. She transitioned to save her life. You know, I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on this. I mean, like I hear a lot of people that go through transitioning and stuff, and they say that it was to save their lives. You know, feel free to put in the comments your own opinion about that if it's something that you found that it was you transitioned to save your life. I always kind of say for me it was a little bit different. I never, I'd lived first half of my life, whatever, presenting as male. And I never hated myself. I just felt more feminine. I just felt that for me personally, that I felt more comfortable presenting as a female, as a woman. And it was something I'd felt all my life, something I'd felt from a young age. But I never did it to save my life. I got to admit that. It was never to do with that for me. However, I know it is for a lot of trans people. So I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that I come from a different kind of background with that. So it's always interesting for me because I'm always like to hear things like this is kind of like, wow, I mean, to be at that level. Whereas for me, it was like, it was more like I wanted to present as myself. I wanted to present as myself, as Rachel. But the thing is, living and presenting as a boy, it was more, I don't want to be doing this. I want to be presenting as a woman. I want to be living as a woman. I don't feel comfortable like this. I feel more comfortable if I could be just myself. I got this desire that I want to be seen this way, not this way. And that was my emotions and my feelings, that just kind of, that's how it was. Whereas I know that there's other trans people where it is kind of, if I don't transition, I don't want to live, which must be absolutely awful to live that way. And that's why it's so important, healthcare and stuff for trans people. But this is the thing, isn't it? And I mean, and I guess that's why a lot of medical centers and stuff like that, they want to, there's young trans people who want to get access to hormones and healthcare and stuff, and who can't, and why it's so important for them that they do. Now, I know that there's been times where young people have had health, have transitioned and wanted to detransition, regret. It does happen. I'm not denying that it doesn't happen. I think it's a very small amount of people that detransition, but it does happen. And here's where it gets very complicated, because you've got people where you've got, a young person who, because when we talk about all older people, it is different. But when you've got young people, and it's like people don't want to live. And like because obviously when you're young, you don't understand that, your life, your first 10, 20 years is nothing of your life. It's nothing. Once you hit 30, whatever, and you start realizing, oh, wait a minute, that was only a small part of my life. School's only like this little part of my life. But when you're that age, it feels like it's all your life. It's all you know. When you get older, you kind of realize it isn't. So I can understand why young people feel like, oh, I feel so terrible like this. Why am I having to live like this? And so, yeah, so that's what I mean is, like, if it's life or death situation, I can understand why doctors are such a difficult situation. Whereas if we give you the medicine, if we give you the possibility to live as yourself, but if you're one of the small minority that wants to detransition, it's like, oh no, that's a problem. So it's like two problems. One is we want to save the person's life, and then the other side is kind of like, well, yeah, but they might change their mind in the future. But like I said, it's very small amount, and that's why the doctors do try their hardest to give you the medicine, because they do want to save your life, if you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, let's see what she has to say.
Years, 5.5 years ago, my father didn't support me being trans, and you need your two parents' approval to start HRT when you're a minor. I had to cry and beg a judge to let me be the woman that I always knew that I was.
So, I mean,
I'm Nafar. I'm a 23-year-old transgender woman from Tel Aviv, Israel, and I started my transition at age 15. In childhood, I felt always feminine. I liked to play with Barbie dolls.
okay, I don't know how long my microphone was off. I've just been talking, my microphone was off. Like I said, for New Year, I need to get a new microphone. But what I was saying was, I don't know what the laws are in her country. I don't know what the situation with her father was and things like that. But you know, what do I think about that? I just think that I can understand that some parents being resistant a little bit towards transitioning. I know it might sound strange. Why would I agree with that? I don't agree with it. But what I mean is, I can understand that there might be some parents that have that kind of worry. But obviously, her father just did not accept her as trans, because she had to go to a judge to get it overturned. So I think, and I said, like, at this point, if your father um, doesn't basically do something like, basically say, yeah, okay, I'll sign the documents to allow you to transition and get the medication you need. I think he obviously just does not accept her as trans, by the sounds of it. Anyway, let's move on. Hopefully my microphone won't go off again.
Sent to dress feminine, and people at school could see that, like the kids at school, and they laughed at me for that. I cried a lot at home because I didn't understand why they're laughing at me. For me,
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, because I know perfectly well at school, there's not a chance in hell that I would have gone to school dressed feminine, just because I would have just been laughed at. I would have been beaten up. Okay. So my school years were definitely, no, you cannot present as female. You cannot live as female in any sense of the word. But maybe Israel's different. I don't know. I've never been. I don't know what the rules are and stuff like. I don't know how schools do. I don't know if you're allowed to dress as you're chosen or how you identify at school. But I mean, she obviously tried to, and she was laughed at. I remember, like, kids at school. I mean, we were mainly we had like gay kids at school, so the gay children, you could tell who was gay, basically more feminine, or maybe a little bit more Normally a bit more feminine actually, because the more straight acting gay guys and girls and stuff, you wouldn't be able to tell anyway, because just they would just hit it. But the more feminine gay guys that were in our school, yeah, they got bullied and picked on. They did. Was there any trans kids in my school? Well, I mean, I was trans, but I couldn't be open. So there were trans kids, but we didn't know who they were, because there's no way they were going to be open, because they would get beaten up.
Transitioning wasn't really a decision, it was a matter of life and death, because I really didn't see myself growing up as a man. The first step that I took to transition was to tell my mom and to my sister. There's my reminder.
So, I mean, just saying, like she said, she couldn't see herself growing up as male, and that's a big thing with the transition side, especially when you're transitioning. We all transition from when we're children to being an adult through puberty. We transition, and I think the big thing is for a lot of trans people, especially if because I'll be honest with you, before puberty, I didn't know about hormones. I just didn't know about it. Didn't understand it. No one ever told me about it. Didn't know anything about it. And basically, if you know about that, you're saying like, I can go through puberty and I don't have to get any male features or shape or bone structure. I can keep it all feminine if I take hormones. Of course, most trans people are going to say to you, yeah, I don't want to go through puberty and be more male or more female. I want to be myself. So I can understand. I mean, it must be awful, because I mean, I didn't know, so I was just kind of like, I wish something existed, and it was like, yeah, there is some exists. There's hormones.
Of taking my estrogen pill. I take it every day at the same time. I started taking the estrogen pills 5 and
So it's interesting. The ones she's taking are the same ones that I take, and what's quite interesting as well, like she takes it at the same time every day. I think that's good. I mean, she knows when she wants to take it. She has a time, so she don't forget. I often just take hormones. I just know I'm gonna take it that day. I don't really have a set time. Just take it whenever.
a half years ago, hormone replacement therapy replaces the biological gender hormone to the desired gender hormone, in my case, testosterone to estrogen. My skin got smoother, my hair got thicker, my body hair disappears, and I got a feminine figure, I got breasts.
So I don't know how well, because it's obviously when she started transitioning. Obviously, with breast growth, it all depends. There's a lot of factors with that. Don't always grow your breast, but maybe because she was younger. I thought she might have had some surgery, but anyway.
Mom and my sister are the biggest supporters in my life, because I feel that they always helped me with everything. If not my mom, I wouldn't be where I am today.
למעשה, מגיל צעיר ראיתי שהיא משחקת רק עם ילדות, ומתעניינת בבובות, לא בצעצועים ומשחקים של בנים.
ופה זה עם הפאה של סבתא.
נכון, עם הפאה, נכון.
אני בלנדין.
בסביבות גיל 15 התחלתי להבין, היא גם הסבירה לי שהיא נולדה בגוף הלא נכון, ושהיא צריכה להיות בת. והיה נראה לי קצת מוזר, אבל לאט לאט עיכלתי את זה וקיבלתי אותה מיד כמובן.
So I mean, basically, like I was saying, like she kind of, she grew to kind of understand and accept. Didn't really understand at first, but then started to understand. And I mean, I think this is the same for a lot of parents, because it's not something that we are taught about. There was no education about trans people when I was at school. And so I'm pretty sure like the older generations and stuff like that, I mean, if you're like in your 50s or 60s or something like that, I'm pretty sure there was no trans education for when you were at school or when you were younger. So if you end up with a trans child, what do you do? Because you don't, it's not like you might, there is a bit more for like having a gay child. People starting, there's a bit more, stuff in the news and television stuff. So people kind of come to understand about having a gay child. But when it comes to actually my child isn't gay, they're trans. This is a thing that a lot of parents aren't ready for. They don't know. Like she said, her father didn't accept. Yeah, probably because he's just not been educated. But her mother has obviously taken a step back and kind of took the time to listen, to understand, and understands her child, and now supporting her.
אחותה.
Usually, you need both parents' permission to start HRT, but in my case, I had to go to meetings with psychologists and psychiatrists and eventually to the judge to let me start HRT. My father is a very religious man, a very traditional man with an old way of thinking, which prevented him accepting me the way that I am today.
Yeah, I mean, this normally is the thing. I mean, it is tradition, old way of thinking. Yeah, these are the kind of things you do hear when it comes to this, because, for many years, being trans has been treated as not being acceptable. And I'm not saying religion in general, because I think there is religious people that do accept trans people. I mean, in Buddhism, they accept trans people. But if you've got old ways of thinking, yeah, people like that, they just find it really hard to accept, because they've been told all their lives that this isn't something that's okay. So it is harder. It will take time for these kind of people to, there'll be generations in the future when they no longer kind of exist.
אלא בכל מיני, מתבטא בצורה לא סימפטית. אבחון פסיכיאטרית שהיא בתחום הזה, היא גם מטעם בית משפט מונתה על ידי השופט, והיא חד משמעית קבעה אותה פסיכיאטרית שיש לה ג'נדר דיספוריה, והיא חייבת להתחיל את נטילת ההורמונים. אז השופט להפך היה ממש לטובתה, ולהפך הוא הזכיר את האבא, והוא כעס שהאבא לא הסכים לחתום, ושהוא הולך נגד מה שהיא נולדה, והוא כאילו שהיא כלואה בגוף הלא נכון, הוא אמר השופט.
So, I mean, like she's saying about, like, the judge not happy about father and things like that. The thing is, I'm going to say, obviously, like, I don't agree with the father. I think the father's totally wrong. I think that, he should open his mind and understand and try and always want the best for his child. But I think, like, what I see in the world, just like when I read comments on videos, like we're going to do a video later on about Edge of the Matrix, and there's going to be people that comment on that and say, well, I support his idea. I think his idea, because it's an old way of thinking. People like that, it's hard for them. They think that it is the best thing. They think that being trans is not a good thing. And so they're always going to have that kind of reaction to it. And so I don't personally think it's their fault. I think it's all to do with education at the end of the day. I think education is the way to kind of tell people, well, this is why. You feel that it's not, but this is why. And her father, it's not really his fault that he didn't have that education. The education should be in the system there, should be. It's not going to be, but it should be. I think it's also, if you're one of those people where the education isn't available, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Go out there and learn about things. Learn about the way the world is. The world isn't, the 1950s. It's moved on. If you like it or not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of a lot of things that are popular now. There's things that happen now that I think like, oh, I wish it wasn't like this. I wish it was a bit, I wish people were on the phones all the time. I wish when I went out for meals with my friends, we actually could sit and talk instead of everyone having a bloody phone out. But it's the modern world, and you have to adapt to what's there, and you have to understand. You can't just say, well, you're all wrong and I'm right. So I just think that, trans people exist, and it isn't been in the education system, but if it is in the future, I think more people, and I think like her father, if he'd have been educated before, he might have understood more before. But anyway.
אני מאוד שמחתי כשהגענו לדיון בבית משפט, כי זה נגמר ממש תוך כמה דקות זה הסתיים, והשופט ישר אמר שהוא מאשר לה להתחיל לקחת את ההורמונים. דיון בבית משפט, התחבקנו, שמחנו. רק אני אשמח אם היא תעבור את הניתוח לשינוי מגדר שהיא כל כך רוצה, החלום הכי גדול שלה.
So, for me, everything up to this point, when we talk about like hormones and things like that, I really, I think that there has to be procedures, and to get to where you are. You have to come to the terms like, what are you going to go on hormones? Are you going to start taking hormones? Those things, I think, totally acceptable. But it should be more simpler. I think blockers definitely the first thing you should have access to from a young age, and then then it's hormones, and then I think when it comes to gender. Well, this is a gender reassignment surgery. I call it gender confirmation surgery because it's a confirmation of your gender. You already know it's not a reassignment. You are who you are. So it's a confirmation surgery. But this one is a big one for me because once you go down this path, there is no turning back. Hormones and blockers and things like that, there is some possibility to return to base levels. Well, not completely, but obviously if you use hormones for many years, it's not exactly going to be easy to return back. But what I'm saying is, if you were in any doubt that once you have gender confirmation surgery, you are going to remove, or you're going to change parts of your body completely, you'll never be able to change back. So this is probably the biggest thing. This is the main one, and this is the one that should be the more, the focused one, I believe.
Today, I'm going to walk down a street where I used to be afraid to walk in before I started HRT and began passing more as a woman. The street where I was harassed before I took HRT, and I felt very unsafe to walk down here. There was this one time when I waited for the bus there, and someone called me, and I was with my sister. It was a very bad experience. I didn't forget that. It really affected me very badly. Now let's go to the beach.
So I guess she got harassed. Was this when she probably looked more masculine as well? But yeah, I think that happens everywhere, really. I mean, it's just a reality. People fear what they don't know, or sometimes they like to lash out when say like they're attracted and they can't understand why they're attracted to certain people. And if they know she's trans, they kind of fear that in themselves, so they can get quite nasty that way. So it could be something like that.
I feel much more confident. I feel like HRT really helps me to pass more and feel more confident in my own skin today. I love wearing a bikini. I feel very confident and empowered when I wear a bikini. I feel beautiful, first of all, internally. I feel that I worked on myself throughout.
It must be nice that she can just go down to a beach and wear a bikini. Here I am in the UK and it's absolutely freezing at the moment. There's definitely no bikini wearing in where I'm from.
Years to be more complete and happy with myself, and I think that real beauty comes from within and then it shows on the outside. My message to other trans women is to always put yourself first. Don't think about the society too much, and you will get to the place that you want to be at.
And I think that a lot of trans women do that. I mean, I think we have to be honest with you. We can't really rely on society because society, especially in recent years, I mean, in the UK, it's got so kind of negative and nasty, especially online. And I think if you're trans, you should just kind of live your life to the fullest and just ignore all that and kind of just ignore the noise of society and just get on with your life and just live it, because people are always going to be haters, but, like, there's always going to be haters, isn't there? And that's it. Just ignore them. So, yeah, that was an interesting thing. I know I kind of spoke a little bit about different things. For her personally, I think everything's good. I mean, I've seen so many transgender videos and things like that. It's more the points of what she's talking about that I wanted to really discuss. And also that gave me a bit of a way to relax a little bit into my video. I needed something to just kind of talk about, really, to get into it. Because the next video I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Edge of the Matrix video next. So I'll get that lined up now. Because that was extremely popular. I put a video out this week. I had it for quite a while, actually. I'd recorded it on a live show. And I decided, I think it was around a couple of days ago, I decided to release it. And I think it's sitting at like 700 views, which isn't a lot, to be honest with you. But it's the most popular video I've put out this month. So I'm just like, okay, you guys like that? Let's do another one. So let me find the video and then we'll get into it. Let me see. So yeah, we'll do a little bit of talking about this, and we'll see where we end up. Like I say, if anybody
First speaker.
if anybody wants to spin the wheel tonight, feel free to you can send a donation, you can do super chat, or you can do a buy me a coffee. It's absolutely up to you. It helps me, it helps the channel, and it obviously gives us something else to kind of look at during the show. So yeah, if you would like to do that, feel free to send a donation. Like I say, in the chat box, I've got the link at the top. But if not, it's fine. We don't need to do it. Okay. So yeah. So I thought today, in fact, what I'm going to do is just bear with me 1 minute. Bear with me 1 minute, you lot. I think it's that one. Yes. Okay, that'll be fine for now. Okay, I just knock them off for now. If I can get this off. Okay, get off this page now. Go. Okay. Yeah, I'll clear the page up a little bit for this because I think I'm probably just going to record this and we'll put it out as an extra video. Okay, so yeah, let's start again. So I thought that we would look at another video today from Edge of the Matrix. It seems very popular on this channel, so I thought, why not give you guys what you want, which is a video where I debunk the Edge of Matrix. I mean, there's so many videos he's done, but you know, he just says the same thing in every video. I guess basically that he's going to eradicate the trans people. We won't be here in 10 years' time. Okay, whatever. But his love affair, his obsession with trans people continues to grow. I don't know if it continues to grow because his YouTube channel continues to grow and that gives him income and that gives him a purpose to do it. Probably is the reason he's doing it. Or he just is obsessed with trans people. So I have a video here. I haven't watched it, but he's talking to a crowd, probably talking a load of rubbish as usual. And so let me bring that up and we can check that out and talk about it. Just one moment. I'll make sure it's set up so you can see it. Okay, here we go. So like I said, I haven't watched this video yet, so we're going to watch this together. And I'm just going to tell you my opinion about what he's saying. Okay, as a trans woman, I will tell you what I think. But let's hear what he has to say.
Our first speaker has been, well, I'm sure you've all seen him on YouTube. He's been making waves up and down the country and city centre.
We have seen him on YouTube. He's very he puts out plenty of videos, and he does get all over the country. My advice to anybody who's watching this, please, if you do see him in the street, walk on by. Just walk on by. You will just, all you do is fuel him as a troll. He makes money from the content. So the best thing, do you want to be part of his content? Okay, no. So just walk on by. Just ignore him.
Engaging people in debate with regards to trans ideology. So yeah, Edge of the Matrix. Thanks.
Trans ideology. There is no trans ideology. There is nothing to. We're not an ideology. Okay. Transgender people exist. We've always existed. You can, if you will, the history of trans people, you will see that we've always existed. There's always been trans people. There's many trans people. We're not an ideology. I don't just have like every trans person. We're all the same thing. We're all different. We all have different thoughts, different opinions, different political opinions. Trans people are not an ideology.
Thank you, guys. Before we start, I just want to say, is there any transgender, lesbian, sperm-producing females in the house tonight?
So, well, okay. Bit of a strange crowd. As you can see the group of people he's talking to tonight. So what was that? Trans lesbian sperm producers. It's just like, what are you talking? What the hell are you talking about? All right. I mean, I don't even know what to really say about that just starting off, but that is the, I mean, if there's one thing you say from this is what you come to expect from him, right? Just crazy. I mean, just like, This guy finds it funny anyway, and it looks like this other guy in the back. He's laughing his head off. I think some of these other people are kind of a bit confused, like what? You know what I mean? Yeah, these two guys, they're really digging it at the front.
I shit you not, somebody who identifies as such promised to come and question me tonight. Well, I didn't promise, suggested that they were going to come tonight.
Yeah, I think that's made up. I think that's just made up. I mean, I don't think anybody. I mean, maybe someone does. I'm not saying impossible. Someone might identify that way, but I just think he's made it up. To be honest with you.
They questioned me, and he is not in the house.
What? Anyway, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be watching the videos and he'll be very pleased for the attention because he's an attention seeker.
Oh yeah. And what are you? What are you? Look, I mean, look. It might be on my phone. My watch is just buzzing all the time. Let me just throw it off because it's annoying me now. It keeps buzzing. It's Apple Watch and it's doing all the time. It's annoying me now. Getting updates on my phone. It's just my arm's just like ringing all the time. Look, this person he's talking about, I don't believe is real or anything like that. But even if they are and they are attention seekers, fine, whatever. But you can't. You're an attention seeker as well. So don't start, like saying one thing about other people and you're the same.
Is there anybody here that hasn't seen any of the videos that I put up on YouTube, or has everybody seen them? Is there anybody who's not? Okay, so basically what I do is I go up and down the country. I'm not original in doing this. The first guy that did it was called Chris Elston, known as Billboard Chris. Some of you might see him.
That's the thing. It's like, so I'll just I'm gonna speed up a little bit as well. I'm gonna talk over all this anyway. So I mean, if you don't know who he is, I don't know why you'd be watching this if you didn't know who he is. But yeah, I mean, he just goes around with this billboard on. He's really going to tell you about it anyway. But he wasn't the first person. I actually didn't know that because I actually came across his video first, and I just thought, okay, someone's got, he's got this idea, and obviously the idea. So I totally understand how it was so workable, because to actually have the flag, the trans flag, and walking around the streets, he is going to get attention. Trans people, I mean, because obviously we're used to seeing this flag as a trans person. It's like this. We know this is the trans flag, and so it's kind of like you are kind of like if you see it out in the street, you do kind of look that way. So of course, this is how can I say? It is if you want to get attention and you want to get trans people to look your way, they're going to because of the flag. It's just a reality. But that's it. This is his whole thing. And like I say, he wasn't the first person. There was I think he's an American, the first person. But I never watched any of their videos. I guess the reason that I watched this guy is, well, I don't watch his videos. The reason I've seen his videos is purely because I'm in the UK, and I actually like watching videos where people go around the country. And so I've watched a few of the auditors' videos, which sometimes I'm like, a bit 50-50 with some of the auditors, what they're doing and what they're saying and stuff like that. But I do like to see, different cities, and sometimes they'll walk around the city and you think, oh, is that what it looks like in Sheffield today, or that's what it's like in London today, or the other day. So I do like to watch that, and that's probably one of the main reasons I watch them. Believe it or not, I actually watch it because I like to see what's going on. And this guy ended up doing the same thing, but he's just purely about anti-trans movement and stuff like that. And so obviously I was like, well, I don't want to watch this. But so yeah, and he does pop up in some other like auditors videos because they will be doing it, and then he's there because he can just get around. He goes around everywhere. Luckily, he doesn't go to my city, so I don't see him. I don't see him personally, which is I'm very thankful for.
And basically, I just put sandwich boards on, and I go up and down the country, looking a little bit stupid.
You said it. You said it. But yeah, it does look stupid as well. I admit it does look a bit stupid, especially the things he's got written on it, like trans women and men and things like that. Just basically full on hatred. Don't like trans people. Don't think trans people exist. Don't respect trans people. Think it's an ideology. Just basically one-sided. I don't like trans people. There is no debate with this guy. You got to understand. He'll say things like, I want to have a debate. I want to have a discussion. There is no discussion. His aim is to say, I'm right, you're wrong, and that's it. He's never going to have a discussion. He's never going to say, like, if we have a talk about trans women involved in sport, you could have a discussion about that. Both sides could have a discussion about that. There is things that both sides can bring up and say, well, what should we do? How can we make it so this works for everybody? Because I think in a society, that's how we have to live. We have to discuss things to make things fair for everybody. And of course, unfortunately, because we live in a society, sometimes things don't always go pan the way we'd like them to pan, but they should be kind of mutual. 100% this guy is not going to give you one sliver of acceptance. So there's no point having a debate with him, because there isn't a debate. It's purely, I think this way, you're wrong. I'm going to give you all these facts. And the facts normally that he gives, they are normally from studies that are very small studies, or they've already been debunked. Basically, it's things that he's just basically got together. There's a lot of stuff that he makes up. So, and if you haven't gone there with the facts already, you don't know. It's easy for me because I could just look on my phone, look on Google, and say, well, that's made up. And being trans, I kind of understand. But if you just meet him in the street, you're not going to be able to answer him because he's already got his facts, and he's not going to let you win the argument at all.
Wearing these signs, basic facts. There's no such thing.
Basic facts, because to him this is a fact. To me, this is an opinion. It is your opinion. Trans women are men. That is an opinion. That is, I don't agree with it. I think you're completely wrong. Of course, I'm going to say that's not true. But that's an opinion. It's not a fact.
Sorry. There's no such thing as a transgender child.
Okay. This one is, I mean, look, I was a transgender child. I know many transgender child. What is ROGD? I don't know what that is. Anyway, but I mean, I was a trans child. I know many trans children exist. So this is just not true.
On the back there, it says trans women are men, and what is ortogynephilia? And I'll go on to...
okay. So the one there, that ortogynephilia, he's going to tell you about it later on. But I didn't know what this was at first, never heard of it before. But apparently it's supposed to be that, I think it's supposed to mean that like trans people who I think is sexually to do with being trans or something. I don't know. I might be wrong about that, to be honest, because I don't really know what it means. Well, I didn't know what it means, but that's what I think it means or something. So again, absolute bullshit, right? It's not true at all. I'm not transgender for some sexual reason. Let's put it that way.
Explain what that is. It's like a transgender lesbian sperm producing female. It's an
Okay, so again, I don't think it is, but anyway.
Gynophile. Okay, so how did I get involved in this? We are in a war. Does everybody understand that we're in a
war? A war. I mean, there is no war. This is trans people don't choose to be transgender. They just are. And they're not at war with you. I'll be honest with you, I'm not at war with you. I'm only doing you because, do you know why I'm doing this video? Because when I do this video, people like this kind of thing. And I think as well, it's just, you're easy to debunk. You just talk nonsense. That's why I'm covering you. I'm not at war with you. As a person, I don't have any personal problems with you. I think that you're misguided. I think you've got a delusion. I actually think it's a sickness. But apart from that, I don't have any hatred or any personal feeling against you as a person.
Culture war, and it's a war on Western values. It's a war on the family. It's a war on freedom of speech, and it's a war on reality. Okay, they're trying to.
So there's so many things there, but yeah, a war on. I mean, what do you say? A war on family. Hey, the trans people can actually. Do you want to know something? Trans people can still have children. Did you know that? Okay, trans people can still. You can have a trans man and a trans woman, and they can actually have a baby. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? So no, what family? What are you talking about? Just nonsense, right? War on Western values. Well, you need to tell me what these Western values are. Are you saying Western values based on the church? Are you saying Western values based on, what culture are you talking about? What is Western values? Are we saying that there's a certain set thing that trans people don't fit into the Western values? This is his problem. It's just this kind of. It's just bullshit, to be honest with you, if I put it in one word. But people there kind of nodding along going, yeah, it's against the family, yeah.
upturn it, cause chaos. It's a cold war at the moment. We're not. Well, there's a few skirmishes out on the streets, and I've been involved in quite a number of those, and have food products thrown all over me.
Well, you go out there to get the attention. You're doing it for your YouTube channel. You are going there to get attention. You know that people will get angry with you and will react that way. So you're not. It's not like you're doing this without knowing what you're doing. You know that you will cause upset and anger for all those people. So you can't say, "Oh, people get angry and they throw things at me." It's like, and what do you mean skirmishes? You saying that because you all think this is a transgender ideology? Are you saying trans people are deliberately going out there to attack you or something? It's like, no, it's because you're going out there. If you don't go out there anymore, then they won't bother you, and you'll never see any of this.
On numerous occasions, but for the most part, it's a cold war at the moment, but it is heating up. So how did I get involved in it? So I spent 10 years in the military, and then when I left the military, 2 years in Civvy Street, then I went into the fire service. Fire service was great when it was run by firefighters that went up through the ranks and got into managerial positions. But what happened from the early 2000s is we started to get backroom managers into the fire service, okay, that had been through university, knew nothing about the service, but they were just bringing in a kind of new culture.
So, I mean, I can't speak from his personal experience here. I guess I'm getting what he's saying. He's saying that most of the time people work their way up. They basically became, firemen or firewomen or whatever, fire people. And then they kind of worked their way up and became managers, and they learnt the skills, and obviously that way. No, I've got no problem with that. But then he's saying, "Oh, but people came through university." Now, I think I've heard him do this before. He has a thing about universities. He doesn't like universities. The problem is with universities and lived experience. There is an argument there, like which is better and stuff like that. And there always will be. I think personally, a mixture of both is good, because I think I value education. I went to university. I find it liberating, knowledge, understanding. But I also value work ethic. I value the ability to move up through a company. I think it's important. There's always been managers. If you go back 100 years ago, because people like him love the past. Yeah, most of the time the top jobs were all people who've been to universities, normally from affluent families, not the poorer people. The poorer people would never get those. I would have to work very hard to get up to the higher levels, and even at that level, if they became managers and stuff, they wouldn't get the respect the same as the ones that were from affluent families and stuff, because that's just how it is. That's how society is, and it's still like that, to be fair. It is. You'll find it if you go higher up in a lot of jobs. But the reason they probably were using university people is because I guess that has kind of gone more that way. We've moved into a society now where we have universities, and a lot more people go to university now. And is management a subject? Yes, but leading people is also a. I don't always think it can be taught. I think the understanding can be taught, but being a leader and being able to lead people definitely is better taught as you do it. You learn more by being with people. So on this subject, just I understand where he's going, because he's going to start saying that they come with these ideas, and then he's going to talk about trans stuff, I think, probably from university. Again, he's doing this because he's hoping that the people in his audience probably maybe haven't been to university. He likes to push people who haven't done university with people that have done university. And I think the argument is, and anyone who hasn't been to university, I'll just explain to you, look, I totally value people that haven't been to university because they've done hands-on, they've worked their way up, they've gained knowledge. But don't be just like thinking that university is a bad thing. University is a good thing because you learn about so many different things. You learn about things that you wouldn't learn otherwise. And then I do think those people who've been to university should then spend time learning the craft and the business that they're doing. So I agree with that. But the reason they have these ideas, the reason they may speak more positive about trans people, because they understand what it is. They have a more understanding because they've read about it, they've understood it. That's not a bad thing. You don't need to be against that. Don't need to be scared of that. All because someone says, look, I'm sorry, but I understand what being transgender is. It's just part of human nature. You're making this up. Why are you saying that? It's like, because it's true. It's not because we're making it up. It's just reality. Okay. We've looked at figures. We've read about these things. We've come to study these people and understood them. That's why we know about it. Okay. Don't need to be scared.
Okay, and changing things. And it happened slowly, incrementally. And then there was a big hoo-ha about what was called our appearance policy. So it used to be you turn up for work, you dress smart, you iron your shirt, polish your boots, look presentable, make sure your hair's like not on the collar, things like that. So in 2018, the new policy came out, and in the scope of the policy, it said, this is a gender neutral policy, and we understand and recognise that employees can turn up to work and identify in whatever gender they wish. And that might mean no gender at all or non-binary.
So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? So basically it said, you're free. You're free. We're not going to say you've got to have short hair. We're not going to say if you're a boy, you can't have long hair. If you're a girl, you've got to have long hair, you can't have short hair. You can do what you want. It's freedom. If you want to come to work and you want to have a beard, you can have a beard. All right, whatever. We're not going to tell you shave your beard off. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a bit of I am a person who does like smart dressed people. I do like that. But I live in the modern world. And so do I think that men should come to work with a suit on and a hat and I think it's their choice. Do I think they look smarter? Yeah. Personally, yeah, I think they do. But it's their choice. If they want to come to work, if they want to come to work, maybe not clean shaven, long hair, maybe look a bit rough, it's their choice. I'm gonna say I don't think they look very smart, but I'm not gonna be against it. Now, if someone identifies as female but was is genetically, I'll say genetically male, okay, but they want to dress feminine and they want long hair. What's wrong with that? Can they do the job? Are they doing the job? Yeah, okay, that's what I care about. If you're working for me, you're doing your job. That's what I want. I want you to be happy, and I want you to be doing your job. That's important to me. I don't want you to feel like you can't be yourself. You see, this is the thing about this Steve. He don't want that. He don't want you to be free like that. He was like, no, you've got to be this strict. This is strict. No, it isn't, because we don't live in that time anymore. Look, 50 years ago, you'd fit fine, Steve. You'd fit fine. 50 years ago, you'd be fine. Maybe not, actually. I'm going to lie. I'm lying there, right? 50 years ago, we had, what was it, 60s, 70s? So no, you were fine, actually, because in the 70s, men had long hair. So you don't fit in there. So let's say 70 years ago, you'd be all right. But not now. It's changed. And you just accept that.
And I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And it meant that I could turn up to work, identify as a female, and go and use the female toilets. And I would.
Well, I would disagree with that. You can't just come to work, identify as female, and use the female toilets. So the way this tends to work, you want to know about trans people. So we don't just kind of decide one day we're going to identify and then start. Why do you want to? Can I be honest with you, Steve? You don't want to use the female toilets. Okay, you don't want to use it unless you're going to go pervert women for some reason, if that's your thing. But you don't want to use the female toilets. You want to use the men. You're a man, aren't you? Why do you want to go to the women's? Okay. Now, trans people don't go in the men's or the women's purely because they want to identify and use those toilets. They go in those toilets because that's how they identify. That's who they are. Okay. I use the women's toilets because I identify and live as a woman. I'm not going to go in the men's toilets, right? That's all it is. It's just a toilet. I just want to go to the toilet. And I identify as female, so I'm going to use the females. I'm not going to go in the men's. And if I don't went in the men's, I'd just get loads of looks. And they probably think I'd come to pervert them. So, you got to understand the system. But you're saying you could just, I don't think any work. I think you would have to first come to your boss and you'd have to say, look, I'm trans, I'm coming out. I want to come to work as myself. I think you would really speak with your boss first. You wouldn't just turn up one day. And if you did, then of course, I think your boss, I mean, let's be honest. Let's say if I had a business and Steve decided one day he's going to identify as female, come to the toilet, he wants to use the women's toilets, I probably would pull him aside and say, look, Steve, I do need to speak with you first and say, are you transgender? And so, like, if he says, yep, I'm transgender. Now, if he's pretending, let's say he's pretending as well. So I'd be like, okay, so I need to know this as a fact because this is where we're going forward. This is you decided you're going to live full time as a woman and everything like that. And if he did that and he came out to me like, I'd say it was fine. You're gonna identify as female and we're gonna respect you in that way. But I mean, if he decided the week after he was just going to live as a dude again, then it'd be like, well, what you make clear to us what you want. Then I guess he could say, well, I don't want to be either gender. And that's something we would have to we'd have to just discuss it and talk about and see how we could adapt that for the workplace, and that's it. But he's saying he just turn up. It's not that simple. It still is some discussion on this.
Be supported in that, and that's it. This is fucking crazy, you know. And I very, very nearly actually tested the policy. I thought I'm going to do it just to test it.
So that makes me think that you want to do it, because no one would do that unless they had some kind of. I mean, we already know you have a bit of a weird thing about trans people, but most people won't do that. They would just read it and go, okay, so I can basically be more relaxed about how I dress. If I want to look more feminine, it's up to me. So men, they can have long hair. We class long hair more feminine. So men can now have long hair. That's perfect. Why not? We're free to be who we want to be. That's what I'd be thinking. But you're saying, oh, no, I'm going to dress up as a woman and I'm going to go and say I'm a woman now. Okay. Yeah. If you want to be, are you trans? What? You know what I mean? Are you cross-dresser? What? Why? Why do you want to do that? Test the policy. Yeah, the policy's just said that's what they'll do. If you go to work and you start dressing as a woman and saying you're not going to be Steve anymore, but you're going to be, Jill, they're going to start seeing you as Jill. It's not testing a policy. They've told you in the policy that you would be accepted. They would allow that. Okay? So, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. One moment. Let me just check. All right. Somebody sent a donation. One moment, because I can't see it on the phone. I can see it on my phone. 1 minute. Who sent that? It might tell me. A little bit slow. If it is you can always send a comment to let me know you send. But it's not. Oh, what's it doing? Bear with me 1 minute. I got a donation, but I can't see it. 1 moment. Oh, okay, 1 minute. But yeah, feel free to let me know in the comments if it's you. Okay, it's not letting me see it right now. 1 minute. I have to check on my other thing. 1 minute. Really slow. Trying to find this. Okay, 1 minute. Why are you doing this to me? Make it easy. Okay, John? Oh, John, hello. Thank you for the donation. I'm sorry it took so long to find out. I had to go on my other app to see. All right, thank you so much for that. Hope you're enjoying the show. Well, we'll do a wheel spin after this, but I'm just going to cover a bit more of this video before we move on. Anyway, let's carry on with this video. And thank you, John, for that donation.
But of course, I'm not a creepy man that wants to go fishing around with a euphoria boner in the female changing rooms. Yeah, a euphoria boner is a thing. Trust me. Follow a lady called Mary Kate Delvey on X. Mary Kate Delvey, remember that one?
Well, can you just explain to us? We have to go follow this person now to find out what that is. What was she called? Let's go back. What was she called?
But of course, I'm not a creepy man that wants to go fishing around with a euphoria boner.
Euphoria boner. Okay, I'm not going to bother looking that up. Look, whatever it is. I mean, you can tell me in the comments if you know what it is. No trans person is using the toilet for anything but going to the toilet. Just make that absolutely clear. In the female changing rooms. Yeah, a euphoria boner is a thing. Trust me. Follow a lady called Mary Kate Delvey on X. Mary Kate Delvey, remember that one? So anyway, I didn't test this, but then they. Like I say, feel free to go check that out if you want. I'm not going to bother because it just sounds a load of nonsense again. But you can put it in the comments and let me know what that is. If you're a follower of Steve or something like that, let me know what it is. Because I'm telling you now, You want to know something about trans people, about a lot of trans people. When they take hormones, I'm going to tell you something you might not understand. And Steve might not understand this. A lot of trans women, when they take hormones, and the thing that they say, oh well, we don't want children taking it because of this and this. Yes, it does affect trans women lower half, and a lot of trans women can't actually get erections and things like that. So using these comments and using these words, saying, oh, they get a bonus, like they don't get anything, okay? All right? Because a lot of trans women can't get anything down there, right? That part of their body is kind of, it's not true for all. And obviously, if you're not taking hormones, it wouldn't be affected. But if you are taking hormones and you are taking blockers for testosterone, it's very unlikely that you're going to have the same. You would definitely want to have the sexual thing like a man. So you wouldn't be able to get erections. You wouldn't be able, well, not strong erections. You wouldn't get erections just by going in a changing room. Even if you were attracted to other women or anything, it wouldn't work that way. It would be too. You need a lot more intensity to actually get the erections and the fulfillment from that. So this is just total bollocks, right? This is not how trans people work, okay? Not trans people. I mean, again, if Steve put a dress on, goes into the women's toilets and gets an erection, which is what he's saying, that is not what happens for trans women. We can't get that. We can't do that, okay? It's not the same thing.
Sent out a survey asking us, a staff survey of how you feel about the service, and within that it was asking you how you identify. So I thought I'll have a little bit of fun, and I identified as being transgender. Okay, so I ticked it in the box, and then the backroom staff it kind of backfired on me, because it must have been the answer to all their prayers, because we're not a progressive enough service, because we've got somebody in the service who identifies who's transgender that's afraid to come out. So all of a sudden, all notice boards were coming to LGBTQ plus notice boards on every single fire station all around Greater Manchester. They were taking the photos off the walls of fires, all the incidents, the big incidents. We go take photos, and they're all, it's like it's a history of what that fire station has been through the years. Stockport Fire Station had pictures of the Manchester Airport fire. I don't know if people remember that. But slowly, all these photographs were coming off, and LGBTQ boards were going up. And the surefire way to get promoted was to identify or was to become an ally. And then it's a ticket.
So, I mean, again, I'm not, this is what he's saying. I'm not saying what he's saying is not true or anything like that, because again, it's what he's saying. So, well, what am I going to say about this? Well, basically, you're talking about the fire stations having all these historical pictures, which, it sounds quite interesting what you're saying. I say, well, they have these historical pictures. They've been taking them down so bad. I don't know. Maybe if people were not happy with that, then they should voice that to the management and say, look, we want to keep the pictures up. We don't want you taking these pictures down. Maybe we should have different boards somewhere else. Then we shouldn't be taking these pictures down if it's upsetting Steve, but maybe it didn't upset everybody else. So that's why. But here's the thing, right? So why were they putting up LGBT? I mean, they said LGBTQ information. So not just trans people here. This is about gay people as well and stuff like that. And he's not happy with this. He doesn't like this coming up. All this trans stuff, all this gay stuff coming up. Okay, whatever. I think the key thing is they probably were putting them up because they were trying. Because a lot of companies are only trying to support people. They're not trying to hurt anyone. They're not trying to be nasty to Steve and people like that. They're trying to make it so that gay and trans people feel comfortable to come out in these companies. So they're only putting these things up to try and make it. Maybe they're making mistakes by taking down the old pictures that Steve loves so much, but they're actually putting this stuff up to try and help. They were trying to do a positive thing, not a negative thing. They weren't trying to be bad. Now he's saying that the only way to get promoted now, you had to be an ally. So if you were basically anti-gay and anti-trans, you wouldn't get promoted. Yes, that's probably true. I probably agree with you there, Steve. I think that's probably true. I think you're probably telling the truth there. And the reason I think he's probably telling the truth is because, well, you can't promote somebody who's anti-gay. And you say, oh, well, why? They're good at the job. They know what they're doing. They're good at fighting fires. They're good at managing. Okay, so a manager is someone who can bring all people together. All people, regardless of sex, gender, whatever. They're for everyone. we don't promote people in businesses. And maybe this is why, this is my university side coming out. We don't promote people just because of that. They have to be able to bring everyone together. That means they have to be able to work with gay people. They have to be able to work with trans people. They have to work with men, women, different ethnicities. If someone says, "Oh, I just don't like people who are not British. I don't want someone who's from India or Pakistan. I don't like those people," for example. If you said that, you're not going to get promoted. You're not going to get promoted because we need people in management who can relate to everyone. Now, I know Steve don't like that, but unfortunately for him, that is the world we live in now. You have to be able to talk with everyone. If you don't like a certain type of people, like I don't believe in trans people, I don't believe in gay people. Well, then you've got to manage gay people and trans people. How can you manage them and how can they come out to you? Like if you've got a gay firefighter and you're the manager and they come to you and they say, "Look, I need to let you know I'm gay. We're working with men and I like men." They can't come out to you because they know you don't like gay people. Same with trans people. Once of a trans person, they can't come to you and they can't say, "Well, actually, I'm trans, Steve." Because Steve's going to be like, "Well, I'm sorry, but trans people don't exist. I don't like trans people." So you can't be a manager if you are not open to everybody. I'm not saying you have to be really pro-trans or really pro-gay. Like, I just love gay people and I will support gay people, whatever. You don't have to be like that. But you have to be like, I understand that gay people exist, that, and if a gay man comes to me and says, "Look, I'm gay," I can understand that and support that. Not be like, "Well, I'm sorry, but that is against my belief." Then you can't be a manager. You can't be promoted. Yeah.
In the box and you could get promoted. So anyway, that was the fire service. COVID happened not long after 2018. I started to do lots of research on this. I started to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the time, started to listen to Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how the trans rights activists came for him. You don't get much of a bigger profile nowadays. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously people out there know who Joe Rogan is, but I mean, check some of the stuff out he says actually, because I was watching some videos on Joe Rogan. I've actually watched some of his stuff, and some of the things he says are kind of like just nonsense about loads of different things. Joe Rogan is just kind of like he's been very successful at podcasts and things like that. But if you actually watch what he is, he's just a normal guy with his own opinions. At the end of the day, he is not a scientist or he has any kind of academic background in certain studies or anything like that. He just is a dude that talks about his own opinions. Nothing wrong with that. You can watch Joe Rogan and say, "I like what Joe Rogan says," because you relate to what he says. That's fine. But don't go around saying, "Well, Joe Rogan said this about, the universe. And so he says the universe is endless, so it must be endless." That's not, Joe Rogan is not a scientist. So you can't just say like what Joe Rogan says. Now, his guests may be a little bit different. If he has scientists on and stuff like that, they're different. He's talking about something. If Joe Rogan says, "Well, I don't agree with trans things," or "the trans people come after me," he's just an opinion. He's an opinion person. He's not a scientist or has any kind of knowledge about that. So you can't say Joe Rogan. "Well, Joe Rogan said this, so this must be right." No. Joe Rogan is just a podcast presenter. That's all he is.
Joe Rogan, and even he had to apologize after some of his videos. They actually came for him at one point, and even he did that.
Well, he might have done that because it might have to do with effect with his, wants to make sure that he's got full scope with his shows. I mean, I think he's paid by Spotify. Maybe Spotify might have had a word with him and said, "Look, maybe just apologize for these comments." People do sometimes in these particular positions, even someone as successful as Joe Rogan, do apologize for certain things, not because they feel that they need to apologize. It's just because it's better for them to do that for the company that's paying them millions of pounds to kind of keep that. I'm pretty sure Spotify don't want to take sides with trans and anti-trans people. I think for them, that's not something they want in their business model. I think they probably focus more on, we just want everyone to sign up for Spotify. So we don't really have a problem with trans people. We just want them to pay us money. That's business. So Joe Rogan would probably be told by his boss, basically, because guess what? He has a boss because he's getting paid by Spotify.
Okay. So COVID came and went, and all of a sudden, it seemed this
I love it. I just like, yeah, COVID came when, I mean, not all the time, felt like it was going to be forever, didn't it? But yeah, so that's how I feel about COVID though as well. It's like it kind of came and went, didn't it? You know, came and went and left a nightmare. But that's where Steve emerged from, yeah.
Trans agenda had started to progress. What we missed, the people that were fighting, the freedom fighters against COVID, what we missed was the fact that young school children were in isolation, locked in their room, and they were getting groomed online during that period. Okay.
Well, they were getting, I mean, if you want to use that word online, they're getting on, to be honest here, the one thing I will agree with him is that I don't think children should have access to the internet. I actually agree with that. I don't think they should. And I don't think it's that they're getting groomed by trans people or anything like that. I think they're getting groomed by everyone. This is online. This is grooming. Everything that you see is stuff that they're getting information from. And at a young age, you know, everyone has their own opinion online. And to be honest, I don't think children should have access to the internet. I agree with that. I'm not a big fan of it. I know a child. I have my friend's sister's kid. Basically, he just lives on the phone. That's all he does. He's just on the phone all the time. And his mother supports that. She's okay with him being on it. But he has no social skills. He never talks to anyone. He stays in his room all the time. He's constantly on his phone. Sometimes he doesn't even bother to eat because he just plays his phone. If you're telling me that's good, I don't agree. So I don't think that the internet is ideal for young people. And I think during COVID that was a problem, and I think it still is a problem. But to say, oh well, they're getting groomed by trans stuff. Well, you just said something about the COVID thing. I mean, on COVID, there was people saying you should get the jab, then there's people saying you shouldn't get the jab, and then whatever side you're on that, you've got like the people that were saying you've got to get it. It's the right thing to do, and then you had people saying if you get it, you're going to get ill, you're going to get more viruses. It's actually they're trying to put robots inside you or whatever. All these things. Both those things are not ideal. Then neither of them are true as well. Both sides were too much, to be fair. And I think that, but children had this going on during COVID. And so, yeah, I don't think children should have any of this. It's not fair. They can't think logically and work out the nuance to kind of come into the central point of saying, actually, maybe this isn't true and this isn't true. And I've got to kind of evaluate these ideas with facts because they can't do it.
And what's happened, not only were the young kids being groomed online, the older kids were going to universities, okay? And they were getting...
Remember, he doesn't like universities. He does not like universities because this is the second time I've watched something where he's talking about universities. So the young kids are getting messed about with the internet, which I agree with. The internet is too much rubbish on the internet. And then at the same time, he's saying, the older kids are going to university. Of course they're going to university because that's how we do things now. Lots of people go to university.
Indoctrinated at the universities with this. Has anybody heard of postmodernism?
They're getting educated at universities. They're going to university because they're getting educated. They go to university to get educated. They gain knowledge at the university. Okay, I know you don't understand that, but that's what they're doing. They're not being indoctrinated. They're allowed to go into libraries where they have thousands and thousands of books, and they can read whatever book they want to read. They can learn about any subject they want to learn about. Okay, I did business management at university, right? But I didn't just do business management. We had to do philosophy. We had to do lots of different studies, especially with managing people. We had to know about how humans work and things like that. So we were learning loads of different things. So you're saying like, they're being indoctrinated. No one indoctrinated me. I just went away and read what I wanted to read.
Okay, and from postmodernism comes queer theory and comes what's the other one? Critical theory. And that basically puts a hierarchy in society. And if you're a straight white male, you're at the top of this hierarchy. Okay, just
so I mean, I'm not getting into this too much, but like he's saying about this, I think what he's more or less saying is traditionally that was the format, and it was. I mean, if you were a white straight male, you were at the top. You can't argue that. That was how it was. If you were a black male, I say 70, maybe 100 years, 100 years ago, definitely, you were seen as less. You were in say in the UK, right? And being gay you'd be arrested. You'd be arrested. So of course, being a white straight male is going to be more, and women weren't even allowed to vote like 100 years ago. Was it about 100 years ago? So of course, being white straight male was that. So traditionally, yes, white straight male was the top hierarchy of people. Yes.
Below that, you've got straight white females, and then there's kind of like a descending order. And all these kids
Well, it was traditionally. I wouldn't say it's exactly the same now, but it's still kind of exists like that. I mean, it's still more. If you're a white straight male, you probably. I mean, I think he's going to say that it's not now, but I mean, it's definitely changed now because we are, which we don't want it to be that way. But I think it still is easier being a white straight male. I think so.
were going to university, these posh kids, and they were white.
They're not all posh kids at university, are they? I mean, it's a mixture. Okay, traditionally it was, more affluent families. I mean, I don't really like to use posh. I think affluent. They had money. As long as you have money, you could access these places, and maybe a family background. But I think normal people go to university now. I mean, I say normal people. I mean working class people can now have access to universities. Yeah, so.
The males, and they were privileged, but this ideology was telling them that if you identified as a marginalized group, you will get all the attention, and that's what they were doing. And it was these people that went into this is what I don't call it, it's a phrase called the long march through the institutions. Okay, how do you change society without having a revolution, without spilling blood? What you do is you get into the institutions, and this is what I realized had happened in the fire service.
But who's doing this? Why would anybody want to do this? I understand what he's trying to say now. He's trying to say that it's a revolution, but why would you do that? Why would you want to change that? I mean, aren't most of the people at the top white straight males? I mean, most of the richest people in the world, most powerfulest people in the world, aren't they white straight males? I think they might be. I mean, even if they might be secretly gay, some of them, but majority are white straight males. I'm pretty sure, like, the richest and most powerfulest people in the world tend to be that, unless they're from another country, and then obviously they're still straight males, but of their ethnicity. So why would these white straight males and stuff want to change that? Why would they? What would they be the purpose to do that? I don't see any purpose. The only thing I can see is that humans, as we've come to realize that there's no difference between if you're black, you're white, if you're a female, if you're male, if you're gay, you're straight, that we're all just humans and we're all the same, and we should have all the same opportunities and we should be equal, then that's the only thing I can see that's changed. That's the only thing that matters, that we all now have we're trying to make a more fairer playing field for everyone. So if you are a black lesbian woman, you have the same rights and the same potential as a white straight male. What's wrong with that? I don't think you do, to be fair. Not in a Western country. You probably don't, to be fair. But it should be on what you do, what you achieve, and stuff like that. It shouldn't be on your skin color or your ethnicity or your sexuality.
Okay, they come in from like the early 2000s and slowly change the policy, and it's in the fire service, it's in the police. We've seen it in the two-tier.
But who's doing this? You'd have to have, in your mind, you're saying it has to be like a group of people organizing this. It's more like the people that who've studied and learned about these things have said, hey, I think we want a more fairer, more acceptant kind of society. And people just, I don't value different ethnicities and different sexualities and things like that just because I'm trying to put a kind of change of policy. I just think that I just want people to have fairness, and also I kind of want the best people for the job. I don't care what your skin color is or your background. If you're from a wealthy family or if you're from a poorer family, if you're good at what you're doing, I want you to work. I want you to be part of the business. I'm not doing it because I'm thinking like, well, I want to change everything. Why would you do that? It's not, I want to change everything. It's just, I just want to make it fairer so that I get the best of the best. That's it.
The two-tier policing, I've experienced it since I've been attacked on the streets. It's in the courts, it's in the judiciary. It's massively in the NHS. Is there any?
I mean, again, how can it be in the courts and things like that? How can, you know, a white straight male's not in the court anymore? I mean, you know, and again, why would they want to change anything? Well, it doesn't make any sense. And this, okay, two-tier policing. Well, give me an example. What actually happened? You say you've experienced this, but what? Show me what you've been two-tiered from. What you're doing, you are deliberately going out to cause this problem because you're coming out with this sign. You're allowed to do it, but you accept that you will have problems by bringing this sign out. So, you know, you're going to accept that there's going to be problems, but then how are you saying the police are dealing with you differently? You have to explain that. Tell us.
Any NHS workers here at all? Yeah, of course we've got. Yeah.
So let's see what he has to say about the NHS. I think the NHS is a different thing altogether. And before he says anything, I'm just going to tell you something. One of the things I've noticed, they've really tried with me. They make mistakes all the time. Let me put it this way, right? You know, sometimes they'll call me Mr., sometimes they'll call me Miss, but they try. And I can see that they put a lot of effort in, or they have really put a lot of effort in to kind of support trans people. Be interesting to see what he says about this, because what's his problem with trans people in the NHS and stuff like that. So let's see what he's got to say about it. 1 minute, I've just moved my screen. 1 minute, I want to know what he says about this.
So this was the long march through the institutions.
Oh.
Okay, so
they didn't really say anything about the NHS. I thought I was going to say something. All I can say is, to be honest with you, they're very supportive. Normally very, they try their hardest. Not always. They've used the wrong pronouns. They've used the wrong name many times with me. But when they do know, they always try to use my name, my pronouns, everything. They've always tried to make an effort. So I'll never criticize the NHS for trying. But obviously he hates that, doesn't he?
What is the gender ideology? Can anybody in here define or tell me the difference between gender and sex?
Oh, okay. Well, I can say that. So what we say is that you have your biological gender, biological sex. It's biological sex. Sorry, that's it. So the understanding is that you've got your sex that you're born with. So you've got, like, you either sign male at birth, female at birth, or then you have your lived gender that you actually your brain associates with and you present as. So I present as female. So my gender's female and my sex at birth is male. My genetic birth. I think that's basically the understanding of it. Yes.
Any show of hands? Come on, Kay. Go on.
Gender is basically a social construct of what society deems each sex should.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's a social construct. It's how our societies deem what we see as sex as humans, because we have to come to an understanding and how we've categorized them. So we have, like, male and female. Like in Thailand, they have a third gender, which is, they class ladyboys as third gender. I don't really know what they call trans men in Thailand, because, you know, they have ladyboys, but they don't really seem to class a third gender for them. But it's how a society works out how to class their citizens and their people, and an understanding for humans, so they can understand who's who in their society.
Abide to, and sex is your biological being and your chromosomes and all of that scientific real stuff, real life stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's fine. That's I would agree with that. I mean, we have to have our with the biological sex. I know some people might even disagree with me on this, but I think, you know, a doctor still needs to know your gender you were assigned at birth. It's just is part of life. Yes, I know that Steve will definitely latch onto that more than he will on the gender part. In fact, he doesn't even want you to have the gender part. But anyway.
So that's what they tell us, and that's what they're being taught. It was actually a paedophile, John Money, that first coined the phrase gender ideology. So, and this all.
Well, I mean, I don't know what gender ideology. A paedophile. I don't know if what he's trying to say there. I mean, he said gender ideology, which I don't call anything gender ideology anyway. And something about a paedophile. What is the fact that he's a paedophile? Is that important to the discussion? I mean, to be fair, my opinion on pedophiles are, you know, I hate pedophiles. That's what I think about them. All right. But I think as well, if somebody has said something, what's that to do with that? Did he do something because he was, what does that mean? I mean, he's a bad person, but whatever he said, I guess that's not really the same thing we're talking about. So I don't know why I had to mention that.
Goes back to queer theory and critical theory. It's all this thing about your truth versus objective truth. Okay. So
it's, again, I mean, I wouldn't say it's your truth. I think there's enough trans people to kind of say it's not really an independent, thinking thing. There's too many trans people for it to be just someone. That's my opinion. That's how it is. I mean, from what I've come to understand through reading and basically gaining knowledge on being trans and trans stuff, and also my own way that I react with my friends and understand their thoughts. We all see gender and being trans in different ways. We don't all share the same opinion. So I wouldn't say there is one truth or any truth. I think it's just a reality that trans people are part of society. They just exist. They exist in every culture and every society. So at the end of the day, it's kind of one of these things that we just can't it isn't what I mean is it just isn't a truth that we can say is our truth, because there's just too many of us. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, for the science that has been done on trans people, it seems to be something about us, partly with the brain, but also something to do with maybe when we were born. It seems to also connect as well with our genetics and things like that. There seems to be connections through families and things like that. I think being trans is just a natural thing. It's just a natural thing that some people end up being trans, and they're always going to be trans people in society.
So if your gender identity is personal to you, okay, and we all have to believe that identity.
No, you don't. You don't. That's where he's wrong. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to believe that I'm a woman. I don't care what you think. If your opinion is that I'm not a woman, that's your opinion. You can choose to be respectful of me and say, well, I'm going to, call you her, and I'm going to visually look at you and say, well, you look like a woman to me, so I'm going to use female pronouns. But you don't have to think that way. Nobody will ever force anybody to think a certain way. I'm not forcing anybody to adapt to anything. It's mainly respect. Do you want to be respectful of that person or not? Now, I'm going to say that I am. I see Steve as a man, kind of. But he's a man, right? And I'm going to use male pronouns for him. But if he came up to me and said, "Look, I am trans. I am female. I wanted me to use female pronouns," I'll respect. I might do that for him. It's a choice at the end of the day. So no, nobody's saying you have to agree. It's, do you want to be respectful of that person? That person knows themselves. Of course they know themselves. So you can, understand that person and say, oh, so they're transgender. I'm going to use female pronouns for them. But if you just don't want to, and you just want to have a society where you're going to come across as quite nasty to someone and not use their pronouns, that's your choice. I mean, it's like you've got Miss, Mrs., Ms. I mean, I had a teacher that liked to use Ms. And when I was younger, I always found it hard to do because I was used to saying Miss, but she liked to be called Ms. And I even as a child, I just learnt to use that pronoun for her. That's what she wanted. So I think it's just out of respect at the end of the day. I think it'd be nice if you do believe that person, you understand what a trans person is, but I understand some people can't. But feel free, if you don't want to do that, then obviously I wouldn't associate with you. I would say, well, I find it very hard to speak with Steve because every time he comes to me, he calls me Mr. It's not my pronoun, but so I won't associate with him. And it's like, and then Steve's going, well, how come I can't get promoted? How come I can't be the manager and the boss and manage everybody and lead everyone into the business? But well, you can't, because people find you quite nasty, to be honest with you. You know that person's trans. Everyone calls her, they call Sarah Miss, but you're going around calling her Sir. Of course, people are going to feel like, just don't feel comfortable with you, Steve, So that's the truth. That's how it is.
And it bears no resemblance to objective facts whatsoever. So if that's the case,
Well, I mean, normally a trans person will do all they can to present as that gender. And again, I know you're saying because the facts for you are the sex, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you do that, you can, but people just were gonna find you quite not very nice in the situation. That person already has told you who they are, and you're just basically, I'm not gonna use those pronouns. Or I know your original name was David, so I'm not gonna call you Sarah. You know, I'm gonna call you David. I mean, do you just think that's just nasty now at this point? I mean, they're telling you, I am a woman. That's how I feel. I've always felt, and I basically know that I'm trans. So I'm doing all I can to present and fit into society. And then you you know our gender construct, which we just talked about, and then you're saying, oh, I don't care that you're doing everything the gender construct because all I care about is the sex. And even when you pass and you see I see you as a woman, I'm still going to call you sir. That's just now it's just nasty.
We could be occupying the same space, but we're all living in a completely different universe. There has to be this objective truth.
We live in a society, and in a society, we have to work a way out of being able to come to some type of agreement. We can't live in a society where one group of people just be like this and one people like another way, right? It doesn't work. And so we've agreed in society that we put values of manners and how we treat each other as humans. We see that as, you know, human beings normally do have empathy and caring about other people. So we have transgender people. We know that transgender people exist. There's some
And this is the thing. So they will tell you that their gender identity is the complete opposite to what they actually are. Yeah. And I get this on the streets all the time. So what harms does it do? Basically what they're saying as well, this is the crux of it. A gender identity is more important than biological sex. All right. So there was the Gender Recognition Act in 2004. Has anybody heard of that piece of legislation? Okay, what that says is that somebody, and you have, there's a process. You can't self-ID in this country. You can't just self-ID as the opposite gender. And then get all your official documentation changed. But you've got to go through a process in this country. And basically what that does, and there's a sleight of hand with the words, if you live in the opposite gender for a certain amount of time and you get it signed off by doctors, you can then change the sex on your birth certificate. Does anybody see the sleight of hand with the words there? So you've got gender identity, which is a social construct, and then you've got sex, which is rooted in biology. So, and the activists tell you that gender identity is different, but then they use that gender identity to cross sex-based boundaries. Can anybody see the problem that lies in there? So that enables men then to self-ID and then to female spaces. And when we talk about female spaces, it can be your bathrooms, your changing rooms, your prisons, wards, yeah, sports. I was coming to that one. Yeah, I told Sue to prompt me if I miss anything out. And prisons. So prisons. There was a guy called Stephen Wood. Okay, and he was a double rapist. Okay, once he got convicted, he identified as a female and called himself Karen White. Okay, and he got sent to a female prison. I think it was Wakefield female prison. When he was in that prison, he sexually assaulted 2 female inmates. Okay, so that then went to court again. And the courts, there's a thing called the Bench Guidebook, which was a guide for judges on how to treat people, and the judge deemed that the people had to use Stephen Wood, now Karen White, preferred pronouns. So the court transcript read, "She assaulted her with her penis," and that. Was the court transcript. That's just one case. When I'm out on the streets, they're all reading off the same script and they will not break from the ideology. So some of them are really good debaters, but it doesn't matter how good debaters, they will not break from the script. So you just throw a few words in. As when they're talking, you just say, "Can I just stop you there? Can a woman have a penis?" Yes.
Sorry, microphone went off again. Let me just recall what I was saying before I end this. I'm going to finish with this for now because I've been on this for quite a while today. So basically, if you're saying that if you believe trans women are who they say they are, okay, and you're saying does a trans woman have a penis, then the answer has to be yes, doesn't it? Just like if you say can a trans man have a baby, then they can. It's just as simple as that. So it depends on where you're coming from. Steve, like I said before, doesn't believe trans women exist, doesn't believe that trans men exist. So his opinion is they can't. And I think at the end of the day, you have to have your own opinions. I don't agree with Steve at all, but that's his opinion. But when he's like saying, well, it's an ideology, things like that, it's not an ideology. We don't have an ideology. There isn't, there's not some kind of conspiracy. Just fact is trans people exist. So what I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to finish for today. I might decide to carry on with this video later on. It's a very long video actually too. And I think when I cover videos like this, let me put myself on the main screen now. I think when I cover videos like this, I think I want to just discuss each point because there's so many points and so much rubbish that he talks that it takes a while to really cut through all the rubbish. Now, if you have watched all this so far and you've listened to all the parts, please comment and let me know what you think about what he said. If you feel that he's correct or you want to prove a point, then feel free to do so. I'm sure I'll read the comments and explain to you why you're wrong. But this is what it's about. I mean, there's people out there. I know there's people who've watched my other videos and they really like, there's some people who actually watch my videos and then say, oh, well, I actually follow him and stuff. That's fine. Whatever you want to do that. But just understand that, you know, he has a YouTube channel. He has a reason for doing this. I think he also has a bit of a mental problem. He really wants to follow trans people and criticizes and stuff. But everything he says is just made up. He has this thing. And actually, I don't think it's fair, actually, us supporting him because I don't think it's good for his health. Anyway, that's what I had to say about that today. So I hope you enjoyed that little video from me and the one from Steve. There you go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move on from that. Let me see where I'm at because I've been live for about 2 hours now. I haven't really said anything about the end of the year. I think I entitled the video "Goodbye 2026." But this year, oh, this is oh, thank you. That was from it was 10. I think it was £10 or something. Thank you, John, for that. Thank you so much. Well, I do plan to be doing some more live shows this year. Hopefully, I'll be doing them every week because YouTube like keeps saying to me, "Oh, you got to do a live show each week. You should be doing a live show each week." But I will be doing anyway because I do the one for the channel supporters anyway, and I'll be doing some during the week, and I'm gonna do loads of different stuff anyway. I'm gonna let you know about that as we go on. I'll let you know more about it. Right, I've got some comments here. Let me just see. Let me just check what I've got here. Okay, so we've got Plumber. Hello, Rachel and friends. Sorry, I'm late. Set my alarm, but drifted off again. Oh, well, don't worry about that. I mean, I think I was on earlier tonight. No, I was on late. I was on later, and then I was on earlier. I kind of messed around with my what time I came on. It's no real like guarantee what time I'm going to come on. I'm always here or there with my time. Rachel, your mic is not. Oh, yeah. Well, this is a common thing tonight. I need to fix this mic. The mic is no good. David, Freedom, nice to see you here tonight. You muted. Yes, I know. It keeps happening. And the thing is, I'm trying to keep an eye on it. And then what I do is I have to go to the other screen. And when I've got the video on, I go to the other screen and then I have to come back. And I'm like, oh, it's gone off again. I can't hear you. Oh, I wonder. I hope I wasn't off long. Gentlemen, okay, thank you. That's yeah. Oh, okay. How are you today? Me? How am I today? I'm okay. I'm good. I'm looking forward to just getting into the new year, to be honest with you. I hear you and I'm feeling great. Oh, is that Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Anyway, I don't know if you guys are talking to each other. I have a few ideas how I'd love to hear your voice. Oh, I must have been off for a while then, mustn't I? Oh no. I hope I wasn't off for too long. You have to let me know. Was I off for a long time? Oh no. That's a shame because I recorded that video. It was really I wanted that one for life, and I'll go over it later on. Hopefully I wasn't quiet for too long. I'll have to just cut the parts off where I didn't speak then. That's a shame. Yeah, well, this happens with the microphone situation. Well, I'm going to like I said, I'm not going to be here tomorrow for New Year. I'm basically my brother's coming over, so I'm going to be hanging out with him. So I thought I'd just do this to say like goodbye to 2026, 2025, not 2026. What am I doing? I'm a year in the front. Looking forward to the new year. Gonna I think like most people, they've got a New Year's resolution of health, trying to keep fit and all that jazz. So I'll be doing that. So yeah, I'm probably gonna do one more video before the end of tonight. I'm gonna do spin the wheel because John did send a donation, tip or whatever you want to call it, of £10. So I will do one more spin the wheel, just for him, and then I'll probably call it a night, guys. You know, but I will be around. I'm not gonna disappear. You know, I'm definitely gonna be doing more. I'm going to be doing more live shows and a few more videos, hopefully. We haven't left 2005 yet. That's a long time. I know. I'm like a year ahead already. Sorry, I'm in the future. No. Well, the thing was, I'm what is it? I mean, yeah, 2025 is nearly over. 2026 is not long away. What is it? 20, just over. Well, here in the UK, it's just about. Just over 24 hours away. Easy today. This microphone is going off so easy. Like, why? If I just touch it, it goes off. I just touch the microphone, it goes off. How was my Christmas? I mean, I just say it was good, but I mean, if I go into depth, tell you all about it, yeah, I was cooking. So I was cooking the food, and then I did the turkey. It was amazing, the turkey I made. Actually, really had a lot of flavor. But you see, my friends, they're all Thai, and they want to do with fish. So they cooked all this fish, and they were eating this fish. So by the time the turkey was ready, they were all full, and they didn't want to eat anything else. But they had a bit of the turkey, and they go, "Oh, it's lovely turkey." It's like, well, yeah, but if you hadn't eaten all that fish, you might have been able to eat some turkey. So we ended up having turkey the next couple of days, but I mainly ate it. No one else really ate any of it. But I guess because they're all Thai and I'm British, so you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, so I mean, yeah, it was a good day. I didn't drink much. I think every year I'm drinking less and less and less, and I don't really drink a lot of alcohol. But I thought, oh, I'll probably have some wine and stuff around Christmas. Hardly drank anything. I haven't drank anything since Christmas Day. I had something on Christmas Day, and then I haven't drank anything this week. I'll probably have a drink tomorrow with my brother, but that's about it. So I hardly drink anything. But I just felt fat. I felt fat before Christmas, to be honest with you. I'd been eating so much junk in December that by the time Christmas came, I wanted to start a diet. Anyway, let's spin this wheel, and then we'll see our last video for tonight. Okay, I bet this is a long video now, and I'm not doing a long video. If it's a long video, I'm not doing it. Okay, sorry. Let me see how long this video is because I've got it somewhere on here. I think we just want a nice short one to end the night. We don't want something that's like super long or anything. If I can find it, where's it gone? Okay, bear with me 1 minute. I've got to find the video now. Yeah, just 1 minute. Just looking for the video. So yeah, I don't want to do anything that's too long, to be honest. Do you know what? I might, if not, I'll just let me see. What slide? No. Where is it? What was it called, that one? Forgot what it's called now. What changes can you expect? I mean, this is a really long video, you know. What changes can you expect? Let me see how long that video is. What changes can that's an 11-minute video. I think it's too long, that. Okay, we're gonna do this one. We're gonna do I've picked another video. We're gonna do this. And then that's it for tonight. Okay, one moment. I'll share this one. Because I saw this earlier today, and I think it's something I wanted to talk about, actually. Okay, so this lady here. Now, apparently this video is called I will have to remove my testicles. She's gonna remove her testicles. So yeah, let's just watch it and just see what it's all about. I've not watched any of these videos before, so I only saw the beginning of this. So let's see what she has to say.
Hello guys, this video is because I've uploaded a video and I say a few things. Now I'm getting a lot of
Okay, I think that's too fast. So she said something. I uploaded a video, and so now I've uploaded this video because I'm getting a lot of questions or something. Okay.
questions about my down part area. Somebody asked
Okay, so people be asking about downstairs, so the lower half of the body.
me if I have froze my sperm. I want to be clear with all of you guys. I am a trans woman and I have been in hormone replacement therapy since I was 18 years old. So down there, I am clinically and chemically castrated.
So yeah, this is the reason I thought I'd do this video, because I wanted to kind of bring this forward and kind of talk with a few people about this. So she said that since she's been 18 years old, she started HRT, and she is chemically and clinically castrated. So she's not frozen her sperm. Okay. So that's why if you're transitioning, it's really important that you think about this before you transition. If you're a transgender woman, should you get your sperm frozen? My advice would be to do that. I know it might be like that at the point you feel like, I just want to get on with my transition, I just want to do this thing. But it is true that the longer you stay on hormones, the more difficult it is for you in the future if you want to have your own child. Of course, to have your own child, you would have sperm. You wouldn't have an egg, so you would have to have your child with a genetic female, biological female. But the thing is, on that point as well, she said since she's been 18, she's been on hormones. I don't know how old she is. So I don't know how long she's been on hormones, and I don't know what she's been taking, because obviously if you take blockers and you take other things with your hormone therapy, you know, this affects your thing. Can you chemically castrate yourself? Yes, you can. You can take hormones and you can castrate yourself that way. You don't need to have your testicles or parts down below removed to castrate yourself. I said earlier in an earlier video about you can actually take drugs like Andicor, and that will actually destroy your sexual function down below. Now, a lot of trans women, they want that anyway. They don't want that part of their body, and they want to have a transition. They don't want that. They don't want access to that anyway. But just the first thing I would ask this lady, if I was face to face with her, is I would say, how long have you been on hormones? Because you might not be chemically castrated. Of course, she's going to say, well, I am. Trust me, honey. But it's not necessary. There is a way to... so let me explain this, right? When it comes to using hormones, what it will do is, obviously, will wreck your testosterone for a trans woman. It will reduce that and everything. But the thing is, this is... you might not know about this, but we have basically they use certain drugs. There's a drug called Clomid, and there's a drug HCG you can take. And if you take these drugs, they can stimulate your testicles to try to work again. And so what it is if you take hormones, say you take hormones for 5 years, you're chemically castrated. if you go to a doctor and you say, look, I want to have children, they'll say, woof, it's going to be difficult, but we can try these things. Now, it might not work. I'm not saying it will work, but sometimes it does, because they do this with a lot of men who do like steroids, because when they take steroids, when they take testosterone, like bodybuilders, when they take testosterone, that shuts down as well. It does the same thing that estrogen does to a trans woman. And they've had men that have been chemically castrated on testosterone for 5, 6, 8 years, and they've still been able to like restart their natural testosterone. Now, I know a trans woman's going to say, I don't want natural testosterone. What are you talking about? But it's not even that. They can actually stimulate the testicles to make sperm. And the fact is now, you don't need to have lots of sperm. You just need a few sperms, and they can isolate those sperms, take them from your testicles and put them into like test tubes or whatever, and freeze the sperm. And you still can use that sperm to have children. So when she says she's chemically castrated, has she been to a doctor and confirmed this? Because that's really what you have to do to actually confirm it. It's not, oh, I've been on hormones since I was 18, I can't have it. It's like, have you been to a doctor to check that out? Now, maybe she just doesn't want to have children herself, but that's the question. It's not about, did you freeze it before? Because you didn't, so we can't talk about that. It's about now. If you're going to have your testicles removed at this point, why not just check that? But because you might regret it later on. You might want to have children later on. So it's just something that I'm just trying to say to anybody out there who's hearing this. You might be on hormones. You might be saying, yeah, I should have done that, but I didn't. It doesn't mean that's over. It still might be possible. It might not be as well. But unless you see a doctor, how would you know?
So it doesn't work to procreate or to have kids. I never wanted to have a kid, not through, to the...
Again, I completely understand where she's coming from. She doesn't want to have sex with a woman to have a child. But again, that is not actually what you would do. You would actually isolate the sperm. The sperm would be put into an egg. And yes, you would need a female to actually have the baby. But even in those circumstances, there is certain situations, like, okay, in the UK, you can't pay someone to do it. Okay. You can actually, in the UK, it would be if you had someone who voluntarily wanted to do it for you, which there is people that will do that. But if you're in certain countries in the world, yes, you can pay. It's allowed, and you can pay someone to actually have your child for you. So I know it's complicated, and like she said, I never really wanted a kid, so that's not a problem. If you don't want children, that's not a problem. What I'm saying is, it's not impossible. If she said to me, okay, I want you to now try and do that for me, I'd say I can probably at least get you the facts. We'd see a doctor, then we'd look at the options. You'd have to maybe have to freeze the sperm. We'd have to find a donor or someone who wants to have the child for you. And of course, this is all about if you want a child, because you have to go through a lot. You're basically fighting to have a child. So you would have to want to have that child. You'd have to be, and you say, oh, it'd be very expensive. It's like, it's going to be more expensive having a child. So if you can afford to have a child, you most likely can afford to go through this process.
Sexual activity, so I'm not being able to get pregnant. So I put in my mind that I'm not be able to have a kid of my own. So this is one of the things why
I'll just say one final thing. You can adopt as well. So it doesn't mean that if you have your testicles removed, because once that's done, you can never have children. That's a fact. Once you remove your testicles, it would be impossible then. But if you're not bothered about having a child that is biologically your child, you can adopt. So you still have a choice to have a child.
Remove my testicles, it's because they are useless. And what I say about useless, they are all unhealthy. One of them has a tumor, and the other ones, it has a lot of veins and something like that. And besides that, they are up in here, so they have half is there and half is down. I don't know how is that. but it's through the canals. It's stuck in the canals when it needed to go down. So
I mean, the fact that she said something about a tumor there, that to me is like, well, if you've got a tumor in one of them, well, you have to have it removed. Anything that's going to affect your health, then you need to get rid of it. So her reason for doing this isn't just purely because she's trans. She said it's useless, of course, that's one thing, but then she's also said, she mentioned tumor there, and the way she's describing it does sound like, oof, yeah, it looks like there's something he's doing. Now, again, I mean, if one of them's got a tumor, then it sounds like the tumor one you would definitely have to remove. But I don't know about the other one. The other one, I mean, she's got a lot of veins and stuff. I mean, I guess it would be a doctor would be able to tell you what's the prognosis on this.
It puts my health in danger. I'm not inventing this. This came from a CTR or a scanner, and they check it, and the doctor say this person has these issues, so she needs to look for a neurologist because this could be in long term a very huge problem for my health. So
I mean, a doctor's come to tell this, so that so it makes total sense what she's saying.
Health could be in danger. So why I'm doing this video? Because I share everything, and I already say it in one of my lives, in my free readings, free aura readings and tarot consultations. That is not for free. And I say it, so now I'm getting questions and all this stuff. This is it, guys. So now the problem that I have within me is that if I want to do the sex replacement surgery or something like that, the SRS, sexual replacement surgery.
So she's in sexual. Confuse me now. So, well, I say sexual confirmation surgery. That's why I say it differently anyway.
Or not. If I want to do that, I need to wait more, and I need to travel far away to get the surgery. I don't think I have the money to do the surgery because that surgery is very expensive. 20,000 euros minimum. So I do not have that money. So I cannot do that. My insurance doesn't cover that. So that's out of the thing, you know.
So I don't know what country she's in. I mean, I'm in the UK. So in the UK, it's actually available on the NHS for free. So, you know, wherever she is, that's true for some countries. You know, you have to pay for it. 20,000 euros. I don't know. I think you can get. I think you can get it cheaper in some countries, but I mean, of course, you want to go to a good doctor if you're gonna have this done.
So I cannot do that now. So I cannot say anymore because I have to visit my doctors, and I'll be all these months going to the doctors to find a solution for this problem, because I went for A and I find B. So this is it. This is how life works. And, you know, shit happens.
So yeah, well, I mean, I said, like, she said she went for A and she got B, so she must have been going to check for something else. Maybe she was going to check to see if her testicles did have something. Maybe because it looks like they went to scan the actual testicles, and this is what they found with her testicles. So it's just that whatever reason she went with A for something, B is the result. I mean, yeah, I mean, it looks like she has to have something done with them.
In life. It's all the point of view. I am taking the good of it. I always wanted to remove them, and I think now it's time. I'm 34 years old. I'm still young, wild, and free.
Okay, so she's 34 years old. I mean, I didn't know she looks good for 34. So, I mean, how long has she been on hormones? She's been on hormones for 16 years. So, yeah, 16 years, HRT. Yeah, she's been pretty suppressed for 16 years. If her testosterone has been suppressed for 16 years, there is a chance that her testicles probably, it's very unlikely that you'll be able to restart them at this point. So, yeah, it's been quite a while. They still might be able to, but based on what she said, that one of them has a tumor and things like that, sounds like probably not going to happen.
So I think it's time. I think it's time to take control of my health, to take responsibility of my health. And I want you to know that being a trans woman in hormone therapies, it is not a joke. It is not a joke. So the doctors say that down there it could become testicle cancer in some years. With the therapies that I am doing, it could be it's higher the risk. So
Yeah. I mean, because like I said, I haven't watched this before, but now she's actually talking about cancers and things like that. At the end of the day, you don't mess around when it comes to cancer. At the end of the day, you have to listen to your doctor, and you need to take action ASAP. And if the doctor's saying, I think you need to get rid of your testicles, I'm saying you go ahead with that, because it's one thing even considering things about the possibility of having children and things like that, but that's all going to be secondary to your own personal health. You cannot risk your health even for little things like if you know, you can adopt children. So, I mean, she said she wasn't bothered about children. I know I'm going on about children here. Maybe it's because I'm trying to say, like, look, you as a trans person, you never want to shut off your natural possibilities in life. If you ever want to have children, you don't want to be getting old and saying, I could have had children. You don't want to be like that. And so anything like freezing sperm or even looking at opportunities to possibly have that, I think should always be open. It's not that you have to do it, it's just that you have the opportunity. For this lady here, 16 years on HRT, I would probably, say, yeah, it was always going to be more difficult for you if that's what you were looking for. Well, she said she wasn't anyway. But cancer, yeah, you need to sort that first. That's the most important thing.
So I better just remove what it doesn't work for me. I don't use them since I was 18 years old, so I think they are useless there. They are just decoration, guys, and I'm not a doll, so it's more important my mental and my temple. That is my body. So I love you guys, and thank you for supporting me.
Yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. I say a lot of these videos I don't really watch them before I share them with you out there, and I'm glad I actually watched that. It's quite interesting because when I watched the beginning, she was more or less talking about having them removed, and I was thinking like, well, don't you want to? And I thought she was a lot younger than what she was. I mean, I thought she was in her 20s, so 34. I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, 16 years of not using the testicles, yeah. Anyway, we have a few comments here. Let me just. What's her YouTube channel name? Oh, I can tell you what her YouTube channel name is. 1 minute. I got it from. It's Mia Corliss, the Empress. Yeah. Yeah, check her out. Like I say, she might say something more in her other videos about this. But it was just interesting. I just found it interesting because I hear people that they have their testicles removed and stuff like that. And it's just the thing about being trans, our it isn't impossible to have children. It's just if you still want the opportunity, probably should get it frozen. So like for her, it would have been more recommended when she was 18 to get that frozen. But of course, it's money and it depends on each individual. Not everybody, wants to have children, so there's nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't say to her for a good time. I wouldn't say no to her for a good time. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but okay. I'm heading off tonight. Let me know what her channel name is if she's on YouTube. Well, I've shared it now. Hopefully you've seen it. Good night, farewell. Okay, well, good night then. Okay. Sweet dreams. Okay. If I don't see you next year. Oh, well, we'll see you. Whoa, I will be here next year. Where to write down. Oh, okay. Well, just check the video out. It's on the video. I've shared it now. So, yeah. Well, I think for myself as well, I'm going to call it now because I'm actually going to watch another YouTuber after this. And I'm watching a live show. Some YouTubers I watch, they're on tonight, so I'm going to watch their show after this. So anyway, thank you for watching. I won't be here tomorrow because it's New Year's Eve, and I'm going to be my brother's coming over, so we're going to be hanging out. But I will be here in the new year. I will be doing some shows. I'm not sure when, but I'll be doing some. I've got a lot planned for next year. Going to be not just doing the show here and be doing some new videos, but and I'll be doing some more videos on trans issues and things like that. Don't you worry. My coffee stuff, I think, is going to end up on another channel just for my own personal interest because I enjoy it, but it's just not popular on this channel, so I probably won't put it on here anymore. What else am I going to be doing? I'm going to Thailand. It's like 6 months away, so I'm actually going to be doing some blogging in Thailand. So I'll be doing some videos when I'm in Thailand. So that's going to be interesting, but that's a long way away. So yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. Please consider becoming a channel supporter. You click on any of the channel support channels, or whatever videos, and you'll be taken to a page. Then you can see all the options. Please consider checking that out. And yeah, check out some more videos on my page. I've got loads of videos. I've made so many, and hopefully I'll be back soon. But I don't know when. But I will be back soon. Probably the latest Sunday, because I always do my live shows on a Sunday. I didn't do it this week because of the Christmas holidays and stuff, but I will be back. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Janice. Thank you for being here. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Oh, I'm going now. Goodbye.